alternative that the Prime Minister offers is no deal, in which case Iran will immediately begin once again pursuing its nuclear program, accelerate its nuclear program, without us having any insight into what they're doing.
Well, you know, I don't even know where to begin, so let me begin by introducing a man we haven't introduced in quite a while, and I've missed him. Ralph Peters, Lieutenant Colonel in the U.S. Army, retired, of course, and Fox News strategic analyst, and best-selling author, and, of course, the one I'm fixated on here is Hell or Richmond, and there it is on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Ralph, welcome back, sir. You know, where do we start? I mean, you know, after watching Netanyahu, you know, I mean, here the president says, oh, if we don't do this, we're not going to know what they're doing. The IAEA just said 2 days ago they don't know what Iran's doing.
Well, Steve, I always tell people, beware of human beings with obsessions, whether it's a star stalker or a president obsessed with his legacy and a specific issue. And Obama is obsessed beyond a danger point with getting a deal with Iran. So obsessed that, as Bibi Netanyahu politely pointed out, Obama has ignored Iran's aggression throughout the Middle East. He has ignored the American lives Iran has taken, first in Lebanon, then in Iraq and Afghanistan. He ignores that Iran remains committed to the destruction of Israel. Obama just wants a piece of paper so he can say he made peace with Iran. And he wants, you know, the sunset clause is there that he now denies is there. We'll see. The sunset clause is to give the Obama administration a decent or indecent interval, as it were, before Iran pops its first nuke, so that it's on some other president's watch, and Obama can say, for the historians, well, I delayed them, I did everything I could, I had a deal, and President X blew it. You know, it's just pathetic. And as I said on Fox, if Israel disappeared tomorrow, Obama wouldn't shed a single tear. He comes out of that hard-left milieu where he spent his entire life that regards Israel, the only rule of law democracy in the entire Middle East. He regards Israel as an imperialist oppressor, and all the Arabs fighting Israel as, on some level, freedom fighters. It's just a horrible situation. And, you know, for we Americans, it's horrible that we have to have the Prime Minister of Israel come to Washington to tell us the truth, because our own president won't even talk to the American people about this. He's just saying, as he did with health care and so many other issues, just trust me.
And you know, as a military man, you probably could appreciate it even more than me as a layman in all this, but just to listen to him lay out the facts in layman's terms so that everyone could understand it, and saying, you know, hey, Iran, describing who Iran is and saying they might be against ISIS, but he described both of them, talked about the similarities, and said, in this case, the enemy of your enemy is your enemy. I thought that was stunning, and it was wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. I've again, on Fox, I've said that the most important line for Americans in the entire speech is that the enemy of your enemy is your enemy. In other words, still your enemy. And it was. I mean, he laid it out beautifully. It was a masterful speech. And then you had afterward the Democrats with their snitty. They're snitty and snotty like high school girls that didn't get chosen for the prom. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi crying, right?
Oh, Nancy Pelosi's beyond the pale. But then the president himself, he was so snotty about it, but he didn't lay out any facts. He just says, Netanyahu doesn't have the facts. Okay, well, Mr. President, tell us what the facts are. He also, the President Obama lied when he said, well, Obama's just not, Netanyahu didn't offer any alternatives. Yes, Netanyahu offered a clear alternative. That is much tougher sanctions. And, you know, I had an email from a military buddy of mine who's still very deeply engaged in that. It just came in this morning. And he said, you know, sanctions were working, and Obama snatched defeat from the jaws of victory at the last moment by easing up on sanctions. And the Iranians are, I mean, we've talked about this before, Steve. The Persians invented chess. The Iranians are primarily Persians, and they're just running the board with Obama and Kerry. And these two guys, Obama and Kerry, sort of the Abbott and Costello, although they're, it's just a horrible, horrible act. And I am worried, obviously, very worried about Israel's future. Yep. I'm worried about the future of the Middle East.
Yep.
And in the long term, I am worried about the United States
of
America.
Absolutely, with those ICBs and everything else as was laid out by Netanyahu. Ralph, great to talk to you, sir. Stay well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve.
Take care. Ralph Peters, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, Professor of Medicine at Brown, and you know him as an expert on Islamic terror, Dr. Andrew Bostom. Don't go away.